This is how I made the music video for Dead Already by The Residents. Fun fact about me, I was actually raised in a circus. Because of that, I grew up around a lot of clowns, and clowning has always been a really big part of my life. So when I got asked to work on a project that was all about clowns, it made a lot of sense. It was a perfect fit. The challenge of the project, of course, was connecting to the experience of oldness, because the story of Dookie Town is the story of a trailer park of old retired clowns. Now, for me to connect to the experience of oldness, I love contemplating the mysteries of life, aging, and the inevitability of death. But as someone in their 20s, I don't have very much experience with what it's like to be really old. So this project involved a lot of reflection. The original concept was to show the nightmares of the residents of Dookie Town. I wanted all of their nightmares to have something to do with aging and death and mortality and all of the experiences that are commonly associated with those things, like invisibility, deterioration, disorientation, facing the great beyond, the void that sucks all life into it, you know? I wanted each of the nightmares to have something to do with what it means to confront the end of one's life. When I drew the first sketches for the Dookie Town residents, I didn't really think that that would be the final look that I would go with. I was just experimenting and playing, and I ended up really falling in love with the characters. So I tweaked their designs a little bit, but ultimately the original characters ended up becoming the final puppets. This is the box where they live. So their heads, hands, and feet are made from polymer clay. There's an aluminum wire skeleton frame inside of them, and then the body is just fabric and stuffing. They don't have any eyes because the eyes are all added on later. I use paper for stop motion so I can switch out their expressions easily. See, she's got the eyes on, you see? Oh, and then there's this guy, which I actually made this as a travel buddy for when I went to Bali and trained in clowning. I just thought that she would be great in the video. And then this is Hackney, the bottom. I went through a lot in the process of making this video, just trying to get these dolls to stand and walk and move and stuff, because I just made them the way that I would make dolls that I want to cuddle. But I think it worked out. I got fishing wire to help them stand up. That helped a lot. I tried to use it to make their arms move. Didn't work. My grandpa actually gave me this miniature guitar while I was in the middle of working on the dolls. It blew my mind. I also had this miniature money from a toy vending machine. That actually got the video going in a whole new way, because prior to that, I had a lot of questions around what dream sequences I wanted to go with. I still had like 10 that I was trying to decide between. I need to talk about the juggling sequence. That was so difficult. I know how to juggle, but I didn't know how juggling actually worked. So I made the juggling balls were made of clay and on strings, and then I held them in different configurations to make it look like this character here was juggling. And then the juggling balls were supposed to turn into eyeballs. So I made these weird little eyeballs, but it didn't really read. So I didn't end up using them. Instead, I hand drew over every frame of the juggling sequence a little eyeball. So, you know, all the pieces just slowly started to come together. And bit by bit, these clowns started to come to life and show me what they wanted to become. This guy's sequence, I had to cut out a bunch of flowers. I cut out so many flowers. I drew so many little flowers and cut them all out. It was really cool though. I love the way this guy's sequence turned out. It was awesome. Her sequence was so simple and easy. Such relief after working so hard with these three nightmares. In addition to the four main clown characters, I had to have the main character whose dream it was going to be. And of course, this had to be one of the actual residents themselves. Dude was awesome. I mean, he's 80 years old and he's like getting down and rolling around on the floor and stuff. I can't wait to be hella old and still making weird art. It's so inspiring. I love that stuff so much. Wow. Once I had all of the stop motion sequences filmed, then I was able to start creating the settings that they would take place in. So all of the backgrounds that you see, those are all collages-ish. I like to use stock photo textures to just add some realism to the look of my drawings. I really like to blend cartoon world and real life world and mess with our sense of reality and perception, playing with textures and depth and perspective. And I don't really care if it doesn't look right or logical or scientific. In fact, I don't really want it to. I want to disorient you in a good way, in a way that makes you feel like you're in a fantasy world, in another realm. Yeah. That's pretty much how I made all the pieces, but then I just had to put all the pieces together. And it all was coming together awesome. It was all looking great. I was very happy, except the beginning and the end. The first sketch I ever did when I was coming up with ideas for the video was of this old man watching TV, and an ad for the retirement home of Dookie Town comes on screen and he falls asleep. The problem was when I first had this idea, I had imagined that it would also be who was this character at the beginning and the end, and that it would be him who was transforming into the dream clown. But because I decided to drop the concept for some reason, I never filmed as just the old man watching TV. I tried asking my grandpa, but it didn't really work out. And then I realized that I am a pretty good old man. I have this character, Silvio, who turns into an old man sometimes. So I have an old man wig. I have this clown nose. So I decided, why not I be the old man clown? There's just so much work that goes into everything I create, and I wish I could share all of it, but I try to do so in little bits, and I'm trying to get even better at it by making longer videos like this. So I just wanted to share some of the process and also some of my excitement with y'all, because this was definitely a landmark experience for me. It was my first time doing a full-length music video for a band, and not just that, but a band that I actually already knew and loved. So I'm excited. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. This project also made me think a lot about what it means to be old and what I want to get out of life and how I want to feel when I'm at the end of it all. And I want to be full of joy and a bit of chaos, and I want to laugh in the face of fears. So I hope you feel that through the video. That joy and hilarity in the face of the inevitability of our own demise. Okay, clowns. Time to go back in your box. All right. I know you don't like to be stuffed in there, but what else am I going to do with you? Seriously, what am I going to do with these now? They're so great. I love them. I might have to make more projects about old clowns. Or at least get a good shelf for them to sit on. I'm going to have like a whole display room. I'm going to have my own museum. Because I really can't stop making more things.